Hello and welcome back to StarCraft, where today we're going to be showcasing the Karax versus Nova soft counter. Last time we had Nova versus Tychus, and this time I'm going to be showing you guys how to beat up on Nova. So I'm going to be doing my normal start here, just going to tier 2 with an instant gas and just putting down a unit in front. I usually like to go with energizers just because energizers are always useful, unlike the sentinels, which are just not always useful. And we'll see who our opponent is. And surprise! It's going to be Nova. We'll get ourselves sniped here. Awesome! So now we figured out that we are against a Nova opponent, and as Karax, I'm thinking, yes! I can do terrible, terrible things to my opponent here. And for that, we're going to need Mirages. Mirages, sure, they are the air-to-air superiority fighter, but they could do terrible, terrible damage to the ground. By that I mean they can crowd control things. Each Mirage has one charge of the Graviton Beam, which just mitigates, or rather lifts up into the air, one ground unit. Just so happens that Mirages are 140 minerals, and Nova's cheapest unit is 110 minerals, so you can just kind of lift everything Nova into the air and make it not useful. So we're going to start doing that right now. Just add a couple of you guys down. We only get 2 of them this way, that is fine. And we won't be dealing with the Nova hero unit itself, but if Nova dares build any units, which is usually a pretty safe assumption, usually players like to build units, then we just kind of blow it away. Like, it's gonna be quick. This time Nova hasn't done anything, which either means Nova is teching up, maybe to tech level 3, or Nova is just saving for something in particular. A lot of people's first response when seeing air units is to build Goliaths. Goliaths cost 240, and one Mirage lifts it into the air for only 140, which is a whole 100 minerals less, which means I can just keep building Mirages and just kind of like beat any amount of Goliaths of similar price. So it's you know, it's what makes Mirages so good. It doesn't matter what Nova builds, I will be able to lift it into the air and blow it away super easily. So that's what we're going to do. Now there's a couple responses that you'll usually see to this. The first response, which is technically an incorrect response because it eventually loses, is the Mass Marine. As you guys noticed, Marines cost 110, and, well, the Mirages cost 140. He's going for the other response. Let me go ahead and continue this. So, you can just have more Marines than Mirages. The issue is that it doesn't scale very well. That is to say, I will still be lifting 90% of the wave of the Nova's units into the air, and then killing off 90% of the wave at no cost to my own units. So I don't have to change up, just keep building the Mirages. And sure, there'll be a few Marines left, but then my Graviton Beam will just recharge, and suddenly the rest of the wave is gone. And honestly, it's actually, the way it works out, the 10% of the Marines, or whatever few Marines survive the first wave, cannot kill off all the Mirages, and then the Mirages just recharge their ability, and then we kill off all the Marines. So it's the way it works out. Nova units, way too expensive. Now, my opponent is doing a very good job here, and doing the one thing they can do to actually mitigate this soft counter advantage. They are going to build Liberators. Do they have the first one out this time? Nope, they don't. I'm not worrying this scan because I can't lift heroic units, and Nova's a heroic unit there. So we're just gonna fly over. Don't worry, we're not leaking anything terribly dangerous here. There we go, just set you up here, like so. I'm just trying to get them scattered so that when the Liberators come out... Yeah, I know. He's doing things with that. I just want to make sure to beat the Liberators, and then we'll get some carriers out, and things will be okay. This is not correct, is it? No, it is not. Let's do this. I want to have a nice grid. The thing about Liberators, they're not typically air-to-air superiority, but they do have splash damage, which means they scale better than Mirages do. So you end up with a scenario where, sure, I win the air-to-air game early, but as time goes on, maybe by the 10-15 minute mark, we will start losing the air game. So that's, there it is. First 2 out. Let's go ahead and get some air weapons upgrade. And you'll see here, I mean, Mirages, they're good units. They kill off everything in the air, and then we carry on. Hardly lost or anything. It's just the one Nova. I was going to go ahead and get up to Tech 3. and start working on our air. Yes, okay, I'll do it. I'll do it. Good. Good. Awesome. In this particular case, Nova's a little bit difficult to deal with for my teammates, so... Yeah. I see it. I'll deal with it. Don't worry. Let's get a couple of Immortals out. Oh, he means Abathur. Oh, is Abathur not dealing with it at all? Oh, jeez. Like, it's just one unit. Like, my units are flying over, and they'll actually kill off Abathur wave units. So, like, as much as my units are flying over and not doing a whole lot of damage to the Nova hero unit itself, we're still, like, we're still doing things. Okay. He's also doing the good thing of putting all the Liberators to one side. That way it makes my Mirages clump up. It's gonna take him a while to get on top of the Mirages, but still. I do want to get to tier 3, so I can start fielding the, Here we go. The carriers. Carriers will be able to deal with Liberators, and this is why it is so difficult for Nova to deal with things. He can go mass Liberator, and my response is, okay, well, now I've forced him away from every single unit. He cannot build Goliaths, he cannot build Marines, cannot build Siege Tanks, cannot build anything, and he has to build Liberators. And you know what Karax has that can deal with Liberators? It's Carriers! So we're going to be doing that. Also, another option is Annihilators. Although Annihilators don't shoot up, it can clear out a bunch of ground units, and then if you really want to push the game pretty hard, we can do that. But that'll come later. I'll make sure to get one of these guys, and then I'll start putting right there, just so we can see what's going on. And then I'll start putting my carriers in the back line here. Scan. Oh, looks like only 2 Liberators survived that. Okay, let me get 1 armor upgrade. Nice. And now our units fly across and just kind of eliminate half of the wave here. Yeah, that's this is fighting on top of the cannon, by the way. All of those kills. And so this is why it's okay for me to leak Nova. Sure, it's 1 hero unit, but we just wiped out half of the wave of that my ally would normally have had to deal with. So it's okay. It's an okay trade-off. It's not like I'm screwing over my teammate here by consistently leaking that 1 unit in particular. I'll just go ahead and toss you back there. Nice. Let's go ahead and get up this guy. I like this thing. It's so big and has so much range. Does so much damage. Poor Panzer. Just having to deal with a Tychus Mirror. Tychus Mirror match is so boring. Let's go ahead and take up while we're at it. Beautiful. He's even conveniently killing off a couple of those Liberators. Killed off 2 of them, yeah. Ah, but now that we have a carrier on the field, Nova is not going to survive anymore, so now we won't even be leaking Nova. And really all Nova can do is just keep building Liberators in the hopes to eventually get on top of the Mirages. By then we're going to have an army of carriers that'll do terrible, terrible things to my opponent. Isn't that going to be great? Look at these guys just chilling out there. They're still alive. Oh, jeez. Welcome to Karax. Poor Nova is such a bad time. Impaler. Yeah, I don't think we were able to kill that off in the Mirages. Oof! The Tychus mirror matchup. I really need to do another series on all the mirror matches. But that will be a series for another day. Actually, that's going to be a little rough. Are they going to cast on the Hydras? They did auto-cast on the Hydras. Whoopsie! Let's do this. There you go. Solve that real quick. We're up to 5 Raid Liberators, all stacked up together, which is quite good on his part. Good job, friend. You did it. Let's get 1 attack upgrade here. You can see these Liberators starting to actually do some notable damage to my Mirages. Do they get any? They get no Mirages. Sweet. And let's just make sure to seal the deal here with a nice Beam of Death. Slaughter everything, or just get stuck fighting Dahaka, beaming Dahaka specifically, so that's unfortunate. Make sure to want to target the masses of units rather than the 1 giant hero unit, not that you actually have any control over it. Whew! All those Mirages, eating those debt charges off of Crooked Sam, that's an MVP right there. How did Dahaka survive that? Doesn't matter because all the charges were used on my Mirages and not on my allies' Tychus units, which means great time for us. Easy win for my ally. Our Mirage is great. I feel so bad when Nova has to go against a Karax. It's just such a rough time. And it's even worse when you have an Artanis there, but most people know that matchup pretty well. I just wanted to show you guys how it works out specifically against Karax, because Karax otherwise doesn't get a whole lot of love. Okay, so he did actually kill off a few of my Mirages there. Means he's starting to get more and more on the field, as well as their upgrades, but now we have support carriers. And we're gonna have a lot more of them coming soon. Come on, deal with the Haka. There you go. Alright, let's get one more. I think we can actually, it's about time to get the repair drones. Get these guys healed up. So many casts of the debt charge onto non-Tychus units. Ooh, that's rough. You need to make sure to save your auto casts of the debt charges to the to your Tychus matchup, because otherwise you just kind of lose the game. You don't want to do that. It's not a great time. Ooh, he's got another one all the way over there. Interesting decision. Now we get to watch Mirages do terrible things here. Now you guys will notice that I don't actually have that many Mirages. This is because I saw him going for Liberators early on. Ah, he got the attack upgrades, that's why I changed. So instead of just going massive lines of them, I just prepared to deal with the Liberator outcome. Oh yeah, we just completely slaughtered the entire Dahaka wave except for a few Impalers, which are going away very quickly. So there's a few things to note here. I have these guys very spread out, that way it mitigates as much of the AoE, the splash damage, for as long as possible. And I don't have a whole lot of them. Against Liberators, Mirages will eventually lose, period. I will lose to the Raid Liberators. This is why you need the support carriers out, so that the support carriers can, well, clean up the Liberators. But that's going to be it. 12 minutes of match, and this game is over. Alright, so the last round was a bit quick, and I wanted to show you guys what it's like to play Nova from the disadvantaged position, at least so you guys can understand what you will be facing against if you're playing as the Karax. So, I'm just going to do my normal start here as Nova, pretending that I don't know that my opponent has been preordained to choose Karax, and I'm going to go through my normal start. I'm just going to put Insta-Gas first, put down my Nova before the round starts, and then get the regeneration upgrade and start tier 2. That way I could have all of my options on the field. And that right there shows me that I am against a Karax, because that was an Energizer, and immediately I know that I have no options. I am soft countered, I am in a terrible position, and I'm about to have a really rough time of things. Quick note, my opponent here appears to be hiding his colors. So what I can do is I can ping these photon cannons, and you see the real color shows up here on the bottom. Yeah, right there. That will show me whose photon cannons those actually are, and so I know that it's my direct opponent and that he is Karax. So even if he didn't show the Energizers, I would know right then and there. And there is only one good response, two kind of good responses. The first response that you'll see a lot is the Mass Marine. This may win the first 2, maybe 3 waves, but eventually they just get outscaled by Mirages. I explained that the first time. The next response is what we're going to be going for, which is the Mass Liberators, and there's really no two ways about it. I will not win until I get, like, I don't know, a whole row of them, like 9 of them out, and then I will beat the Mirages out of the air. Outside of that, it's not a thing. Like, I will just lose my waves. There is no composition of units I can build that will get me to win my wave. That's it. I will lose up until I get enough Liberators out. At which point, then it's a game of getting the right units out. Usually my opponents may go Carrier. Sometimes you'll see them go something like Immortals just to deal with, I don't know, ground units that may be built to try to underrun because Mirages are just that good. But you're probably going to have to deal with Carriers. And there's a couple things I can do against those. I can try to get out Strike Goliaths. For that, I have to do some positioning shenanigans. You'll see some of that go around here. The other thing I can do is just more Raid Liberators to try to beat down the Carriers out of the air. That takes even longer, so we'll see what the situation requires as we get there. Looks like allies are losing their waves. It's a really bad thing because if you see that your teammate is one of these hard-counted scenarios, you have to play for it. My teammates, for example, this Mr. Taco here, he's going to just have to accept that there are going to be mirages leaking into his wave. There is nothing I can do to stop that. It is what it is. So he's going to have to keep that in mind, and he's going to have to play as if, well, there are going to be mirages. You know, it's just going to deal with it. It's going to be like 10 minutes of this, or like 7 more minutes of me just building raid liberators and losing the wave up until I finally start clearing out the mirages. We'll see if my opponent manages to do something that's going to change that.
Nova here.
I want to snipe off detectors manually if possible. Lit in the Liberator transform here. At some point I am going to be disabling the defender mode on them. That way they focus entirely on the air. There it is. Yeah. Goodbye, Liberator. You will be missed. Bye. Oh, you were fun while you lasted. Okay. And they do kill off a science vessel, but not really anything else. They lifted a couple things in the air, but didn't actually kill them off, so that's ideal. Let's get another raid liberator here. Beautiful. As we just carry on. Curious. Going with the Tahaka Mutas versus who? Ah, that's why. Interesting decision. I mean, it could work. At least for now. Alrighty, I want to see if I could snipe off the detector. Ideally, Dahaka eats the detector because ravens are psionic, which is beautiful. There we go. At this point, I do want to be disabling defender mode. That way they don't try to siege up to kill the locust, when instead they can be focusing on mirages. Let me go ahead and get the ghost visor here so I can deal with this guy. I'm going to hold off on... There we go. Snipe you down real quick. Snipe comes off cooldown again. I can snipe this Overseer. There we go. And now my Nova is free reign to just deal auto attack damage to things. Or cost them 25 minerals to scan, which is even better. Switch over to Shotgun Nova, blow away all those locusts real quick. Just a little Nova micro to try to mitigate as much damage as I can. Because it's a rough time out there for my allies, considering my position right now. Okay. So our defender mode is already off. Okay. Snipe that out. We have detection on Nova. Ah man, these wraiths are oh, I left it on autocast. That's unfortunate. Now those wraiths are gonna do terrible things to me, because wraiths kind of beat up on liberators. Unlike mirages, which stack up super hard, wraiths don't, and they're beefier, so they don't die nearly as quickly. That's one of the problems with being soft countered. I am pigeonholed into this very specific composition, and my enemies can take advantage of that in oh so many ways. Whereas I just kind of have to keep building this and hope for the best. Ooh, probably should have gone with the queen, but at least you can attack air now. He desperately needs detection, is the issue here. I'm a scan for him, because he's not using his worms, for one reason or another. I'm going to not snipe that, because we have liberators already taking care of that. Want to snipe the obs when it comes into range. There it is. Snipe. Thank you. How are we doing over here? Still not killing off liberators. Still not killing off mirages yet. We'll get to that later. Snipe the Overseer. Now we are still in scan range for the moment, but that will change as the scan expires. Very good. I'm gonna want to get attack and armor upgrades here. Okay, we're getting scanned now, so we'll just do as much damage as possible before Nova goes down, and we got something done. let's first get a couple more Liberators. As nice as it is to get the attack upgrades to make this happen faster, we really need ability cast. We really need the masses first. Otherwise, it doesn't work out as well. The HP pool is kind of mandatory. Yeah, and he's bringing out the Deimos Vikings, which absolutely shred our Raid Liberators. Yeah, we can't... Oh, we're so close. Just one more hit would have chunked several of those guys down. Gotta get them all stacked on top of each other so they're all hitting the same target at once and just knocking everything down. Okay, so those are coming from Purple's wave. He's in kind of a tough spot. Han and Horner kind of rules the early game versus Dahaka here, at least when played at a decent level without making mistakes. Or without going for less than ideal plays. Does Dahaka have... He does have detection now. Beautiful. So how does this fight go? I believe that was manually controlling his abilities. Does he eat the Raven next, or does he even have the ability to eat? It's probably still on cooldown. Alrighty, let's do this. I kind of just want to snipe. Oh, well, that's beautiful. Let's snipe this guy. Try to get him down. Come on, how are we doing here? It's so close. It's so close. There's a lot of healthy mirages there, but that is that's deceptive, because mirages go down extremely quickly. He has we made him spend so much in overseers. That's beautiful. They go down so very quickly to just 1 or 2 more hits. Just a little bit more damage is enough to knock down chunks of mirages. I think it's time we get 1 attack upgrade here, and then 1 defense upgrade. I don't actually know the math on this. I should know the math on this. I don't. Okay. How are you looking? Let's get you a little closer and snipe that guy. It's not enough. Shotgun. Nope. Goodbye, friends. You will be missed. Alright, so this is what it's like to get countered. I was really hoping to give you guys a good showing of how to deal with the mirages, but it looks like we're just going to get our waves offset, and not going to be able to do that. Which is kind of the whole issue with being countered. Even in the ideal worlds, I would be able to come back from this, but in ideal worlds, my teammates don't leak a lot, which is very difficult to do when they have to also deal with my wave. So welcome to having a rough time of things. Yeah, usually about now is when we should start winning against the mirages. It was so very close last time, but all we have to do is have my teammate kill off all these Deimos Vikings and the wraiths, which is not happening. I used to do this. Let's pull you back. Okay. Actually doing pretty good here. There's only 2 Vikings left, which is going to be a big difference, actually. 2 Vikings makes a massive difference. And we kill off some mirages. Not a great deal of them. There's actually 4 Vikings. But one of them was not engaged at any point. All of this is bad. Okay, friend, how do you deal with these units? The mass muta is usually pretty good. It's not stacking up here. They've got a lot of work. A lot of bad all in one spot. Oh dear. Let's see, just snipe off one of their healers, because I can. Come on, get in range. There we go, healer down. Oh my god, they spent all of their... Raid Liberators do so little damage to single targets. They spent all of that time trying to destroy one single Raven and barely succeeded. I think this is how it ends, guys. This is what it's like to fight, to get hard countered, or well, soft countered by mirages. You just... even in an ideal world where I managed to pull off the perfect play of the against dealing with the soft counter, it still requires that I have teammates that are able to not lose their waves, which we didn't have here in this case, which is honestly the normal scenario. This is what it normally looks like when you have a decent Karax versus a Nova. So it is what it is. Let us see how much damage we can do here. Let me get one more attack upgrade just to boost this wave a little further out. Oh my lord. That's looking so rough. You're taking down large amounts of Viking and Wraith here. Oof. That's so many Mirages. They're just going to get all over those tanks. At least Mirages die pretty well to the air splash of the Thors. So there is that. Unfortunately, the Vikings are going to clean up these Thors pretty quickly once they land, which they're doing right now. Oh dear. Let's get out another Liberator. It is theoretically possible that we get enough Liberators that we clear the skies of absolutely everything. But that is so many minutes down the road. Oh, and he's got the Sovereign Battlecruiser, which is just gonna face take my Liberators for so many more minutes. I need the Muta support to deal with this. I do not have it. Oh dear. Look how many shots are going into that and not into the things that are grouped up. Okay. Well. Yep, there are the Annihilators coming in. Whereas I transitioned into the carriers to permanently keep my dominance in the air, my ally has gone for the Annihilators, which is probably the better choice, or my opponent has gone for the Annihilators, which I assume is going to, it seems to be the better choice in this case, because he's up against a lot of mechanical units. Oh, the Beam of Death, I don't even want to look at it. Is there any hope of us surviving the next 60 seconds or so? I don't think there is. Oh, that is so many. That is so many. Alrighty, Liberators. Oh, there's the splash damage out of the Devourers. Oh dear. Yep, GG. Alright guys, if you want to see more videos in this series, make sure to let me know in the comments down below, because we can keep going with this for actually a fairly long time. There's a lot of these to do. But for now, I'll see you guys later.